All right, guys. So we're gonna go to the trial of Donald Trump in the hush money situation that's going on in New York, where they're going after him left and right. But in this case, we're gonna read this from Epoch Times. It says Stormy Daniels' lawyer denies payment was hush money in Trump's trial. A lawyer who was involved in the negotiations pushed back on prosecutors' claim on May 2nd. A lawyer who was involved in the negotiation for agreements between former President Donald Trump and two women pushed back on prosecutors, claimed that it was a hush money payment during a court appearance on May 2nd. Keith Davidson, whose negotiated agreements related to adult performers Stephanie Clifford, also known as Stormy Daniel, and model Karen McDougall disputed Manhattan prosecutor Joshua Steinglass's language. It wasn't a payment. It wasn't a payout. And it wasn't hush money. It was consideration in a civil settlement. Mr. Davidson, who was called in as a witness, said on May 2nd. Would you use the phrase hush money to describe the money that was paid to your client by Donald Trump? Mr. Steinglass asked. I would never use that word, Mr. Davidson said. Mr. Stanglass asked him, what word would you use instead? Consideration, Mr. Davidson said in response, adding that it was like a contract in which one pays to have one's lawn mowed. Trump's attorney Emil Brove pressed Mr. Davidson on his understanding of extortion law, grilling him about previous instances in which he solicited money to suppress embarrassing stories, including one involving wrestler Hulk Hogan. Mr. Brove suggested to the witness that by the time he negotiated the payment for Miss McDougall and Miss Clifford, he would have been pretty well versed in coming right up to the line without committing extortion. So let's stop here. What are they charging Trump with? They're charging Trump with not stating in his tax documents that he paid Stormy Daniel, where his former lawyer Michael Cohen made a payment to Stormy Daniel and charged Trump's organization on their legal fees. That is what Cohen did. And Cohen now secretly taped Trump for however many times he spoke to him. So Cohen, the dirty lawyer, supposed to be supposed to hold to the lawyer's agreement attorney-client privilege. But this guy would record Trump conversation with him and then to use it against him. Isn't that extortion? I think that's extortion. That's blackmail. If you are a lawyer, you're bound to a attorney-client privilege. Even most courts cannot even break that privilege. But here you have a POS lawyer who not only broke that privilege, is trying to make money off of it. So in this article right here, the lawyer says, I never use the word hush money because it pronounces it make it sound like, this is an extortion. Instead, it's a payment. But the interesting part is this is not a unique feature for people in the Hollywood industry or anybody else, because this type of payments and stuff has been happening for a long, long, long time. A lot of people pay other people off to keep them quiet. A lot of people pay other people off to basically kill a story or buy a story so it never gets run. Many different things. But yet, these people are so desperate to get Trump out of the race, they will do anything in their power to make him stop going on his campaign trail. So let's continue reading. I had familiarized myself with the law, Mr. Davidson replied. The Trump attorney also elicited testimony from Mr. Davidson that he'll never had any interactions with President Trump, only his former lawyer and possible witness, Michael Cohen. The lawyer testified that he never met President Trump and that he had never been in the same room as him until he began testifying in court on April 30th. He further said he was unfamiliar with Trump's organization's record keeping practices, but that he did receive some emails from Mr. Cohen's company email address. Any impressions he had of the former president came through others, the lawyer testified, which means Trump was never involved. It was all Cohen facilitating and making all this stuff happen. Mr. Brove appeared to be underscoring the defense point that President Trump was removed from the negotiation and that Mr. Cohen was handling the payment matter on his own, and that his testimony isn't relevant to the charges at hand. Prosecutors allege that President Trump falsified business record by logging reimbursement payment to Mr. Cohen as legal fees, claiming that they interfered with the 2016 election that the former president ultimately won, but his attorneys contend that they were standard legal fees and that no crime was committed. President Trump has said the trial is an attempt to keep him off the 2024 campaign trail and has criticized the judge, Juan Merchan, for issuing a gag order that prohibits him from speaking about certain individuals involved in the case, including Ms. Clifford and Mr. Cohen. Prosecutors have sought fines for multiple alleged violations, including some posted on social media. So, I mean, he's right. He's right. Uh, I believe Cohen did this on his own. I believe he fabricated this whole thing. Uh, he not fabricated, but I think uh, he planned this whole thing because the whole taping his client or taping Trump throughout this whole thing is very, very weird. Why would you tape him? Why would you want to say that I was taping him and I taped his conversations and whatnot? That's very weird, right? Unless you want to get something on him, unless to come after him and make some money. That's the only thing. So I would say state of New York should go after Cohen first. They need to prosecute him for for extortion purposes. This whole thing doesn't make sense. None of this makes any sense to me because ever since Cohen was ousted by Trump, he became deranged. I don't know. I don't know. This is so weird that even this lawyer is saying that he never spoke to Trump. This is the first time, the only time he's seen Trump is when it's in the courtroom. All the dealings were made by Cohen. There's no evidence that Trump was ever involved in this, and this is all Cohen's doing. This is all his game. So, for all that matter, I think Trump was never involved, and I think Cohen kind of sparked up this whole thing to have some sort of leverage over Trump. And yeah, I don't know, man. This is so confusing. This is so confusing. Uh, in a court filing, President Trump lawyer argued that the gag order was designed to silence him while his fouls publicly attacked him. Assistant District Attorney Christopher Conroy said in court on May 2nd that that's not true, arguing that the gag order was imposed as a result of President Trump's um, persistent and escalating rhetoric in the case. Among the alleged gag order violations are comments President Trump made in the hallway outside the courtroom, where he has often spoken to reporters at the start and end of each day in court. Before heading into the courtroom on May 2nd, the former president spoke to reporters in the hallway where he said that the case could have been brought 8 years ago instead of now, which is very, very true. Very true. Why now? Why on election year? Why the case show up at election year? They did this to him before with the Russiagate stuff. So now they found something else. This is like the last thing they got. They got nothing else. The trial is expected to last another month or more, with jurors hearing testimonies 4 days a week. President Trump is required to be there, the judge has warned. They don't want me on the campaign trail, President Trump said on April 30th. The judge said on April 30th that there will be no court on May 17th so President Trump can attend his son Barron's high school graduation in Florida. Court also won't be in session on May 24th to accommodate a juror who has a flight that morning. The juror said that means the trial will be off for 4 straight days for Memorial Day weekend, resuming on May 28th. So I think the whole thing is it's cooked up by Cohen. That's what I think. I think it's cooked up by him, and I hope he gets disbarred, man. This guy is just dirty. He's just a dirty guy. I don't like him. I never liked him from the beginning. He just looked very shady. He talked very shady. He's just he's a weasel. So, anyways, leave your comments down below and let me know what you think, guys. Peace out.